Hello and welcome back. I've got a few updates for you. Number one, this is a new space, pillows subject to change. And number two, tea harvest just wrapped up in Japan and I've got some data to share. If you haven't seen the last video on the matcha shortage, you can find it over here. In short, demand has skyrocketed and supply has struggled to keep up. So with the new harvest of tea hitting the market, you'd think that finally there's enough tea for all of us hungry little tea drinkers, but that's not quite the case. Let's have a look at the data. As always, all eyes were on Kyoto, as that is the cultural hub of matcha and is where most of the super desirable matcha comes from. On the 23rd of April, the new tea wholesale market opened up, and on the 9th of May, the first tencha hit the market. And if you've seen the last video, you know about the Häagen-Dazs shock. That is the time when Häagen-Dazs introduced matcha ice cream for the first time, and the next year, tencha prices shot up 150%. Well, guess what? We have a brand new record. This time, tencha prices shot up 170%. That's a lot, and that's just for machine-picked tencha. The same day, hand-picked tencha hit the market, and those shot up around 220%, or over double last year's prices. So what happened here? Well, in addition to the insanely increased demand, we had a bit of a bad harvest. We had a cold spring, which means the tea plants grew slowly, and it sort of warmed up toward the end of it, but yield was down compared to last year. With a lower yield, that means you have less supply, and when there's less supply and more demand, the prices go up. But there's more to it. With a cold, slow growing season, that means the quality of the tea is actually higher than last year. So low supply, high quality, high demand, and you can kind of do the math yourself. We're seeing incredibly inflated tencha prices. And you might think, okay, well, that was just the first day of the market. Maybe with more farms pulling in more tea, the prices would go down, and they didn't. As the season rolls on, at some point the quality sort of peaks, so the prices went up for a bit and then went back down, but the average kind of stayed at around 170% up from last year. And you might also be thinking, well, that's just Kyoto. Well, in Fukuoka Prefecture, I've heard reports that yield is down 30% and prices are also doubled. Now, if all of these numbers mean nothing to you, let me give you some examples of how much the prices have changed. Our Kyotanabe Goko matcha, which was last year made from incredibly high quality hand-picked leaves from Kyoto, will be the exact same price this year, except using machine harvested leaves. That's where we're at. Machine harvested tencha this year cost the same as hand-picked tencha from last year. So companies are responding to this in two ways. One, raise prices. Two, change the ingredients in the blends to use more lower quality ingredients to try and keep the price the same, while affecting taste and quality as little as possible. I've heard some reports of some companies beginning to use second harvest tencha in the lower quality Usucha Keiko grade blends, and that's probably what we'll see across the board if you want to keep paying the same prices for tea. You might also think, okay, that's just matcha. I can switch to drinking sencha or some other lovely green teas, and yet there are knock-on effects from this harvest. Because more farmers are switching to tencha because it is more lucrative and it's what's in high demand, there are fewer people making sencha, which means the sencha prices have also gone up, and the yield has gone down. While this might feel like a disappointing update, and it is a tight spot for the industry, on the upside, there are new fields being planted and new factories being built that will hopefully be able to increase supply in the coming years. It might be a rough year for matcha, but the long-term prospects still look pretty good. I know the Kyoto prefectural government has been trying to give money to farmers to switch over to tencha production from sencha, and while that's bad news for sencha, it's pretty good news for matcha in the long run. But we won't see those effects for a few more years. In the meantime, make sure you're using the right tea for the right reasons. As prices are going up, you don't need to be spending a lot of money on a koicha grade tea only to put it into a mixed drink and not taste all of the nuances that made it so expensive in the first place. Use koicha for koicha, usucha for usucha, and that lovely range right around practice grade, usucha, high end of culinary for lattes. As many of you are becoming aware, the word ceremonial grade doesn't mean anything, and if you're buying teas labeled ceremonial grade, they might be charging you more than they should. Speaking of tea ceremonies, We just filmed a lot of really cool tea ceremonies in Japan. Hopefully soon I'll be bringing you a lot of interesting and educational videos about Chanoyu, along with pottery and the tea industry and anything else you want to see videos about. It has been brought to my attention that some of you might not know that we're a tea company, and we work directly with the potters and farmers and artists who we feature in our videos. So if you want to support them directly, you can buy their wares and their teas on our website. The link is in the description. Supporting us also helps me bring you more educational videos like these. And if you want to see more of these in the future, make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments down below what sort of topics you want me to touch on. Until the next video, have a nice day. Thank you for watching.